Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 74.
74? Shit.
It's been another hot minute, Ian.
It has.
Welcome on in, my dude. It's good to have you here for what we're calling a mini cast.
Mini catch
today.
up, yeah.
We're only going to be having a very small podcast. We're going to catch up on the recent films and TV shows we've been enjoying or not enjoying. We have some film news, and of course we're really here today to, I guess, pay tribute to one of the icons, or the icon in sports entertainment, and that was the sad passing of Hogan. So we're going to save that conversation to the very end of this mini podcast.
Yes.
Alrighty, well, Ian, would you like to catch us up on what you've been up to in the last 7 months that we haven't podcasted?
Has it been 7 months?
No,
it feels like
it does feel like it.
It's been at least a couple of months. We planned to obviously get together. I think it was Father's Day.
Right.
We were planning on, I'd made plans to say, well, maybe we could get together for a Father's Day podcast.
Do discussions of dads in films and TV.
That's it, yeah. And because, we were in the depths of working. We were working on a show. I was obviously working my extra job as well. And life was just going on. And then when it got to the weekends of, we should do a podcast, it was just like, we were so tired. It's just like, even if we did get together now and sit down, our energy would not be there. And it would just feel like, I don't know about you, but I just kept feeling like I would be phoning it in. And I didn't want to phone it in.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually get in. Saying that, we're only doing a quick one, 2 hours, but that's how life is at the moment.
But that's also because this room that we record these podcasts in is oppressively hot.
Oh, yeah.
And forcing anyone in here for more than 3 hours is torture.
Well, that's the thing. I always say about we could do the podcast somewhere else. It's just getting you to go outside as well.
Well, it's also shifting all of the equipment.
Oh, that's easy.
And setting it up, then packing it all away and bringing it back.
We could adapt, but we don't adapt because we're so lazy as well. But on top of that, it was just like we had our Halloween recordings coming up.
Yes.
So at the point of this recording, while we're recording this today, while obviously everybody in Twitch is listening as well, we have got 7 Halloween videos.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
Recorded. We were recording on our Thursdays, and then we were getting together on a Saturday. And that was obviously why we couldn't podcast as well, because we were getting together on the mornings and recording
and then editing all weekend.
Yeah, that's it. And Gary would edit, and then I was editing at home the ones that we're doing on the Thursdays, and then I would bring it back, and then he'd be finishing that, and we'd get ready. So so the last... It
was a vicious cycle. It always is, the Halloween-a-thons.
I hope you really enjoy the fucking... what did we do? We did the Just Dance movies. What was it? The Step It Up movies?
And the High School Musicals.
To bring it on.
Real terror that invokes real horror in the audience.
We just thought, let's just go balls to the walls. Teenage angst.
Teenage
drama.
Man, look, please, I'm traumatized enough.
I like Zac Efron now, but not when he was... No, we haven't done those movies. That's a lie. Big news in my house. My wife has retired.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Mama Buck.
She's finally worked long enough that she can now stop working.
Oh, relief.
But I'm like looking at my life going...
Wait, I've still got how many more years to go?
Yeah, not only that, but this is what I'm working for?
To retire.
To retire? Even while we're talking about the legendary Hulk Hogan when we get to his segment, I followed his career, right?
Right.
That guy worked really fucking hard, made a shit ton of money, stepped down, then still had to go back to work 6 times to make money to be able to pay for a house as he went to. So I'm fucked. I've honestly said to the wife, I'm like, when I go, just take my insurance money. And she's like, but I'm older than you. I'm going to go before you. I'm like, no, you're not.
Oh, no.
No, you're not. I did, game-wise, I did get hold of System Shock 2 Remaster on the Switch, and I've played through that. That is the granddaddy game, I would say, to BioShock. You play a kind of cybernetic human who's woken up on board a spaceship with no memory of your past or whatever. And the ship has been taken over by some kind of weird biological creature, and the computer AI that's running the ship has gone mental. So your task is to go around and try to reset the ship and destroy the biological mass while avoiding combat or leveling yourself up so you can deal with combat and picking up lots of different weapons and researching and hacking and all this kind of stuff. If you've never played System Shock 2 but you've played BioShock, I would say play System Shock 2. It's absolutely fucking amazing. It even kind of made me feel like Dead Space in certain sections.
Yeah.
Like I was wandering around some corridors, I was low on ammo.
I honestly think there's a ton of games whose DNA you can trace all the way back to the System Shock games as inspiration or pioneering certain mechanics and stuff like audio logs and stuff that helps build the world up, considering you don't have the NPC characters to interact with that deliver that information. So
massively,
a lot of stuff in there.
Like the data pads that you pick up for the information about what's going on the ship on, I think it's called the Von Braun. That's obviously reminded me of Doom 3 when I was playing Doom 3. I said with BioShock and I've said with Dead Space, it was so nice. Even all the backtracking that I had to do, I really enjoyed, and that made me think of like Resident Evil.
Nice,
like the amount of times in Resident Evil I've gone back and forth going, oh shit, I want to go pick up that ammo before I take on that boss and things like that.
Yeah.
I've smashed out a bunch of Akira Kurosawa movies recently as well. I've kept up on his. Like, I've realised I actually own 15 of his movies now. Like, probably more than I own of James Cameron or fucking Sam Raimi or anything like that. It's like...
That's impressive, yeah.
I think they all came in box sets. I didn't buy them in box sets. I've got Thunderbolts to watch soon.
I still haven't seen that yet.
I still haven't watched that, though. I've wikied Fantastic Four.
Nice,
and Superman. Both those are looking pretty good at the moment. I'm alive.
Good. As long as you feel alive, too.
I feel alive.
I mean, those that listen in on my usual Twitch streams will know this, but... during near the beginning of our Halloween preparation, I had a nightmare scenario with my PC again.
Oh yes,
where I got a couple of blue screens. We also had a couple of power cuts in the house after our oven exploded, and so we had to get a replacement oven in, and the electronics flipped a few times while I was rendering videos out. And the PC was struggling to boot afterwards. And when it was rebooting, it would give me two options for which boot drive to boot from. I was like, well, Windows is only installed now on one hard drive.
Yeah, so why are you asking
But Windows is like, yeah, but there's one over there as well. So I was like, so I was getting tired of every time restarting the computer, having to choose which one. So I called in the expert.
Jeff.
My housemate.
Jeff, yeah. He is an expert.
I was like, well, what do I do with this? And he was like, well, you've clearly got a bio registry of a previous installation of Windows on one of your other hard drives. So we'll go into your disk fragmenter or hard drive thingy-majigger, and we jig this and jag that and move that and do that. Why isn't that working? I don't know, Jeff. That's why I asked you up. He was like, well, what you probably have to do is... go on Google and find the answer on there yourself. I was like, okay. So we're both on Google and we're like, okay, so in order to change registries or to get rid of the bio that's on there, we have to follow these commands. Then we had to bring up a DOS box and entering some other commands.
DOS box?
Yeah, we had to bring up a DOS box.
Yeah,
I know.
These things still have DOS boxes.
Windows has done everything they can to protect those drives from being tampered with or ruined or accidentally deleted, so you can't just screw up your PC easy.
Yeah, but it's Windows that's fucking it up.
Well... I mean, at the end of the day,
You didn't say no.
That's because I don't want to take the blame. Because it's probably my fault. It's my fault.
It is.
Well, I mean, it's my fault in the fact that when I had the PC problem a year ago... and I had to reinstall Windows then. And I had to reinstall Windows on a new drive. And that erased everything that was on that drive.
Right.
And then when I updated to Windows 11... for whatever reason, that other hard drive kept the boot information of Windows 10, even though I was running Windows 11 on another hard drive. And so when I deleted the BIOS of the Windows 10, which I'm not even using anymore, the PC just went, don't know where your Windows is, mate. You'll have to reinstall it now. I'm like, but why? And it was like, well, you were... Here's the thing. The hard drive that doesn't have Windows on it has the Windows 11 boot on it, and the drive that I had Windows running on had the old Windows 10 BIOS, so it didn't need that. So
why? Why were they on two different hard drives?
Because of the year ago when I had to reinstall Windows, I installed it on a hard drive that I hadn't, even though it had been formatted, formatting it does not remove the partition that Windows makes as a backup for the boot. So
couple of things here. I just want to interject here while because he's still got a lot to talk. Couple of things. One, now you know why we haven't podcasted for a while.
Yes.
and two, this firmly solidifies that it is not a technical issue. It's always human error. And so AI, with all the things that people are like, oh, I'm worried about AI. No, you'd be worried about how people use AI, because AI can't do fuck all without a human interacting with it. I just want to put it out there. Carry on.
So it was, honestly, it was the most devastated I have felt this year.
Totally.
Because on top of that, like, I had a completed edit that was rendering, and the power cuts caused that render to fail.
Yeah.
Then trying to find a way to speed up the booting of the PC resulted in nearly a fortnight of delays. Trying to reinstall Windows, and when I reinstalled Windows, the folders of the old drives were empty, so it was like camera footage, audio footage, edits, all that. Like it was frightening and devastating and gut-wrenching to see all that work poof gone.
Yep.
And then the real problem came after that when I reinstalled the software. I'm not going to say right now what it is because I had some complications that when I reinstalled the software and put in the serial key, I only bought this software a year ago, and the company said that serial is now invalid. You've reinstalled this software too many times. I'm like, so that was problem number one I had to overcome. That took weeks and weeks to settle.
Yeah.
And then the next problem came when trying to remove the footage from the video camera onto the PC. It's a Sony camera, and Sony used to have a piece of software called Play Movies Home, which you would get that free software with any Sony camera when you installed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how you easily got the data files off the camera. Sony turned around and went, in February this year, we stopped supporting that software.
Yeah.
And you can still use it, so here's the free download for it. And then when I downloaded it and connected the camera to it, the software was like, this camera's not registered, so no, you can't take the footage from it. Here's the link to the website where you can register the camera. And when you go there, Sony goes, yeah, like we said, we stopped running this app now.
Yeah,
so
you don't need it.
So that was a case of then having to take time out. I took days out, like literally days out, to try and find other, like, cheaper. I didn't want to have to pay money to have a feature that I'd had for years, decades, without having to pay for.
Yeah.
So eventually I ended up having to pay for other software to do the job that we used to have to do for free. So yeah, it was one domino hitting another on top of having a sweltering summer. It was, pretty nightmarish. But on top of that, we did get back on track. I mean, we didn't actually stop the Halloween film reviews. We just kept recording anyway. We were like, let's back it up and we'll work for it from there. So yeah, it's been since the last podcast. That's been some of the stresses. So
yeah,
but all over with now.
Yeah, like, we're here.
We made it.
We're here. We're recording. Like, people go, oh, it must be easy recording and sticking stuff up on the internet. No.
Yeah, that bit's actually the easy bit. It's the easy bit.
Keeping it up there, that's the hard bit.
It's always keeping up the hard part, right? Anyway,
innuendo.
I've got some catching up to do. I've got a couple of films that I've seen. I've not listed every film on this list since the last time we podcasted.
No, that's true.
The ones that stuck in my mind because I wanted to hate on, or I wanted to praise, or I was somewhere in between and not really decided.
Yeah.
And the first one I want to bring up is a film called Mountainhead.
Okay.
Which, of course, released in 2025 and was written and directed by Jesse Armstrong, and it stars Steve Carell and Jason Schwartzman and Michael Smith. And it's about four friends that reunite during a worldwide economic turmoil.
Okay.
Now, as soon as I saw that it was starring Steve Carell and Jason Schwartzman, it's like, I like these two actors. They've got good acting chops. They've got some good comedic timing. This film feels relevant to the time that we're in now.
Yeah.
And the synopsis there didn't really give too much, but the film is basically about four tech bro billionaires,
right,
that have this yearly meeting together, and but this time that they've all met, the entire world is in crisis. Wars are starting, governments are being overthrown, absolute pandemonium and chaos.
So like a Tuesday.
Yeah. By today, yeah. And the reason for this societal collapse is AI. and AI software that lets users create realistic videos with their inputs. As you know, that's technology that is out right now.
Yeah,
but just imagine it pushed further. And so these videos are so realistic and so lifelike that people cannot tell the difference between real and, made up footage anymore, which causes the whole world to collapse.
The AI is still developed by somebody in the movie, right?
Yes, it's by one of these four.
Right, exactly.
And so the president's on the phone like, we need you to stop and remove this software, this company, shut yourself down. He's like, no, I'm a self-made billionaire. This is my app, and you're the government. You're supposed to be controlling it.
What would be the use of this app?
To make whatever video footage you wanted of anything.
Yeah, but then that's morally wrong, though, because you can then you can then use it for bad purposes.
Yeah, isn't that like science though? Like
yeah, but at least in modern day at least with science, we're testing things, and then if we go, all right, this is going to be bad, we try not to do it. There are a couple of examples where we've made a mistake.
Let's split the atom. Oh,
right. But
think of the energy we could get from it.
Yeah, but okay.
Yes,
but
think of the billions we could destroy with it.
Here's the thing: when you talk about splitting the atom, that's something where you go, right, okay, we don't know what it's going to do, but we have a theory that it's going to do at least one of these things. So shall we test it in the most remote location we can, so that we try not to kill him? That's fine. If somebody goes, hey, I've made an app where literally you can take Elvis Presley's face and his voice, and you can call somebody up and make him say the most racist shit ever.
Yeah.
And then Elvis Presley's family are going to get fucking bad mouth because everyone now believes that Elvis Presley is racist.
Yeah.
Which I would be like, well, no, because Elvis is dead and that's a video.
Yeah. But so I saw this film as an interesting commentary on where we as a species are headed with this technology.
Yeah, down the toilet because everyone's a fucking idiot. I'm going to use it to make Kim Kardashian call my mate up and tell him that he's pregnant with her baby. Oh, AI!
Scary, isn't it? Yeah. So these tech billionaires, one of them basically ends up seizing control of the government because he's got the upper hand because he controls the app. You've got another one who doesn't think any of this is like a very good thing to have. So the other three, for the rest of the movie, then plot to kill him. But considering they're all spineless, worthless assholes, they don't even have the ability to even murder him. But they talk about how they could easily get away with it.
Is it like a black comedy?
Maybe. I didn't laugh once. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was the film's topic was relevant, but it was an absolutely painful film experience to watch because none of the characters are likable. You're not supposed to like these characters.
Sure, yeah.
But it was a very, very painful film to watch. I was glad it was over. It was an interesting premise.
So up there with Uncut Gems then. You should watch Uncut Gems and then compare the two of them.
I don't know if they're comparable, but other than films I don't ever want to watch.
Uncut Gems was uncomfortable to sit through for 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Being on the mountain with those idiots was also very painful, despite the caliber of actor.
So don't watch Mountainhead.
I'm saying stay away from Mountainhead unless you're kind of curious about watching 4 Elon Musks hang out with each other. That's kind of what you're getting.
Yeah.
Next one on my chopping block. This is a film I actually couldn't even finish. I found this really painful, and I've been saying this for a while, that people are like, Guy Ritchie's changed. He's making better movies now. So I was like, fine, I'll watch Fountain of Youth, which is just released from writer James Vanderbilt, directed by Guy Ritchie, starring John Krasinski and Natalie Portman, which follows the story of 2 estranged siblings that join forces to seek the legendary Fountain of Youth. Using historical clues, they embark on an epic quest filled with adventure, and if successful, the mythical fountain could grant them immortality.
I love the way that you do those. When he's so angry at a movie, he tries to make the synopsis sound exciting, but it's venom. He's spitting venom like, if successful, the mythical fountain could grant them immortality. And in his mind he's like, I don't know if they did or not because I didn't finish it.
I'm going to guess they all died and never found it because, well, we've not been blessed with the Fountain of Youth.
Right, yeah. So John Krasinski's fucking what's his face from The American Office, isn't he? He was Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. In Doctor Strange, wasn't he? And so him and Natalie Portman are the brother and sister.
Yes, yeah.
Microphone, sorry. I'm assuming from the way you described it, it's like National Treasure.
Yeah, it's like Indiana Jones' National Treasure, but not as good as either.
Oh,
like not even in the same ballpark.
Like Nicolas Cage makes National Treasure like really good.
I enjoyed the National Treasure films.
I enjoy them. So do I. They're just like Sunday afternoon movie. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's like joyous, mindless entertainment. I didn't get anything from Fountain of Youth. It felt forced. It felt really unauthentic. I didn't like the effects work, how everything was superimposed in, the green screen stuff. A complete disconnect from the characters. There was just nothing. There's nothing in there that I can credit as something that I would enjoy or recommend. I'm just like, this is just another stain of Guy Ritchie's efforts. And it's just not for me in the slightest.
That's it. The only 3 movies I can really enjoy of Guy Ritchie is
Lock, Stock, and Snatch.
Lock, Stock, Snatch, and The Gentleman.
Yeah, and The Gentleman. Yeah, actually, I tell you what, I really enjoyed The Gentleman.
I think he did the Sherlock Holmes movies. I feel.
Yeah, I didn't like them in one bit either.
They weren't great, but they were like. It showed me that actually Guy Ritchie
has evolved or changed.
For me, it showed me that he can do kind of New York, like London gritty street stuff very well.
Yes.
But when you try to get him to do other stuff,
something like that should be super mainstream, like Fountain of Youth.
But I'll be honest, I kind of feel the same way with Danny Boyle with the 28. Like, it feels like, yeah, okay, he did 28 Days.
Yeah.
And he did Slumdog.
Yeah.
You know, and now he's had to come back and do 28 years.
Yeah.
Like, branch out. I mean, but then I'm comparing these guys to Spielberg, and I'm like, Spielberg is fucking outstanding.
He jumps from genre to genre. He finds stories that appeal to him.
Yeah, but he really takes the time to work on, you know, what he's trying to establish, the shots, the actors, and all that kind of stuff.
Spielberg also knows when to pass on a film and give it to another director.
Yes, yeah. Guy Ritchie, I feel, when it's his stuff, and he does very well. Like you said, look at The Gentleman. But then when you get like The Fountain of Youth, which he didn't write, but somebody's like, "Oh, can you direct?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay." Oh no, can't.
So yeah, huge pass. Like I finished Mountainhead, Fountain of Youth, never even finished that one. So yeah, there's that. Next film we'll talk about something I was super hyped about, super excited for. You know that I'm a huge fan of James Gunn, so anything that man writes or directs, I'm gonna want to check out. And he's just had some moderate success with Superman.
I know, moderate. Oh,
I'm gonna say this is my least favorite James Gunn film.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Like. I the reason why I loved James Gunn's stuff so much was because it was offensive.
Yeah,
like
it was fun.
It was challenging, and it was very funny, coming from some very dark places. Now, this is the man that came from trauma, so all of his knowledge and teachings from trauma bled out into so many of his films. Mm-hmm. Like Sliver, like Super.
Yeah, I was going to say Super, yeah.
And so...
Like you see it with the Suicide Squad as well, the second one.
But like with the Suicide Squad, I still thought was... I preferred the Suicide Squad to Superman. I preferred Peacemaker to Superman.
Yeah.
And it's because it's edgier humor, it's more in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But that being said... The reason why I say moderate success is that Superman, it has made its money back from production costs, but I don't know if it's made its money back from advertising costs.
No.
So it's kind of one of those break-even films, despite having a very good, strong opening weekend. But anyway, the actual film itself, it has some heart to it, but not enough that made me emotionally invest or care in the characters or the world.
Yeah.
So while everything was playing out, I was like, this is very pretty and this is very funny and lots of action. But when the film's credits were rolling up and out, I go like, that was a Superman film.
That was a Superman film, yeah.
it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't awful. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Wasn't average though. It kind of goes up and down through. I was still thoroughly entertained from start to finish. And the conversation I had with my friend was the caliber of actors in this film can deliver so much more emotional depth to their characters than the two-dimensional characters we're getting in this film.
Yeah.
So you kind of expected more from these actors, but they're limited by the fact that they are in not just a Superman film, but a Superman film that wants to be more like the comic books than the previous DC iterations.
Yeah.
Which I also liked, that it felt a little bit more like Christopher Reeve, except this Superman felt a little bit more cocky. He felt a little bit more like the Human Torch from the original Fantastic Four films. But not that much. It's just that I'm being hyperbolic.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of how I felt about him. But then I'm kind of reminded this is a very young Superman. He's still questioning his upbringing by the Kent family, and questioning what the intentions of his parents from Krypton actually were for him, whilst dealing with black holes swallowing the earth and Lex Luthor being a maniac, and whilst also babysitting a dog. So, and Nathan Fillion is hilarious and deserves his own movie.
Yeah, totally. He always has.
Yeah,
I felt this was the problem though with Superman, and like, I didn't want to say anything as it was getting to there because people always see me as being negative, which I'm not being negative. I'm just being realistic. It's
cautious.
Not just that, but it's so obvious that people don't want to admit it. I mean, I said this to you a little while ago. We had a bit of a disagreement on it, but I feel like I feel like I'm justifiable right now with the release of Superman and Fantastic Four backing me up. Back in the day, we had a war between DC and Marvel. And for a while, DC kind of held its own. Marvel was floundering. Then all of a sudden, Marvel came out swinging and has knocked DC for 6. It's gotten to the point now where Marvel can release a Fantastic Four movie on its own, with its own backstory, with its own linkage to the Marvel Universe they've already established, and they can come out swinging and make money. Yeah? People have rushed to see the Fantastic Four movie. People weren't going to.
They did. Like, the thing is, for Superman and Fantastic Four, people did rush out that first weekend.
Yeah.
But nobody came back weekend 2.
Exactly. Why? Because Superman, they knew what they were getting. They were happy. Same with you. You were happy to go see a Superman movie. I knew this. But in my mind, I'm like, why? Why are you so excited? It's
because
Superman.
I wanted a film filled with some hope, with a superhero that is so purely good that it's like, you're like, because the superheroes that are so morally righteous and good are the heroes that I gravitate towards to more and more when the real world gets worse and worse and more nightmarish than ever. It's like, that's when we really root for these heroes.
But I think the problem is that because you already know that, when you get into the movie, you already know it's coming. Superman is the good guy. Nothing bad's going to happen. He's not going to die. Every risk he gets put into in the movie, and I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Every risk that he gets put into the movie, he's going to find his way out of it. With Fantastic Four, you didn't know what to expect. So as you walked in there, everything they threw at you was new. And so when you came out of Fantastic Four, you were like, wow, that was good. I didn't expect that.
I was actually more surprised about the events that happened in Superman than Fantastic Four,
because they're trying to push.
Because Fantastic Four didn't do anything outside of the box of Galacticus Silver Surfer.
But they didn't. Yeah, but they didn't.
It was technically a remake of that.
That's the beauty of Marvel. They can make these projects, stick them out, and you either watch them or you don't watch them. But on their own, they can do their own thing, or they are connected to this overarching universe. Superman's come out. It's a complete restart.
Yes,
and we're hoping that they continue it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't put money on that. They've only just made some money back, and I could also put a £10 bet on to say in 4 years somebody goes, "Hey, we're making a new Superman movie." Why? Well, because we've got this really great young director who nobody's heard of, and we've got this great actor who nobody's ever seen before, and we've got this really great story. Oh, what's Marvel doing? Well, Marvel have just
they're on phase 28.
Yeah, nobody's watching any of our shit, but it's okay because there's nothing else in the cinema. People just keep rushing us here. I'm really excited to buy Superman.
Yeah,
I'm a massive Superman fan. I've got my favorite comics at home. I've got my favorite movies. When Superman comes out on DVD, I will be massively buying it and sticking it in my collection because I am that guy that goes, hey, I want to watch Superman 4.
Yeah, the quest for peace.
Yeah, I want to watch Superman Returns with fucking... Oh, what's his name from fucking American Beauty?
Brendan Ralph.
No. Brendan Ralph, fucking Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah,
Kevin Spacey. Yeah,
haven't heard that name in a while.
Exactly. I'll watch that one where Kevin Costner says, "No, son, don't come and save me," and gets whisked off by a tornado. It's Superman. It's easy. I can easily do it, and I'm glad. Because for a while, James Gunn and Zack Ryder's fucking. The guy did Sucker Punch.
Zack Snyder,
that's right. Zack Snyder and James Gunn for a long time were getting a lot of fucking hate from different film companies.
The thing is, these two are friends that worked with each other on the remake Dawn of the Dead.
Exactly.
Because that was written by Gunn and directed by Snyder.
That's it. The two of them have got such shit over the last few years over working for Marvel, working for DC. And I firmly believe between the two of them, they've earned their laurels. Regardless if the movies they've made or the companies they are working for have made money, Zack Snyder and James Gunn have been able to come out of it saying, yes, we did our projects.
Yes, yeah.
James Gunn has a Superman movie underneath his belt.
Yeah, and he's working on exploring the rest of that universe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for me, it was a solid start, a good foundation, introduced and set up a bunch of stuff. It's a coherent story. For me, it lacked that emotional weight to it. Now there is a scene that gave me some of that emotional resonance towards the end. I won't go into the specifics of it, but it was a nice, heartwarming, touching scene to have. I just felt like the film could have done with a few more of those moments. It wasn't necessary, but that was just my thing.
I did think of something a couple of days ago, which I haven't wikied yet. I have to fucking research. So, Crypto.
Yeah, the dog, yeah.
Crypto's a dog. So Crypto is a Kryptonian dog.
Yes.
Was he in Superman's capsule when Krypton exploded?
No.
Right. So how, like I said, I haven't wikied this, and I'm sure that there's like a whole research thing to explain to me how the comic books and all that. How did a dog from a planet Krypton survive and fly through space?
Well, he was chasing a bone that got shot into space. So Crypto just went for the bone.
This is what happens when I'm working. When I'm working on my own, I don't have any music. I just go on my head. I'm like, fucking Superman comes from an alien planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this alien planet, we find a whole human race.
Yeah.
That are not humans, but they are humans.
Welcome to the comic book world. It's the same in Star Trek. Every planet are humanoids.
Yeah,
there's also a reason for that too.
I'm like, well, why isn't? Because remember in the Superman movie Man of Steel, we see the opening, don't we, with Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
And he's on Krypton. Yeah. And there was all these flying aliens and weird plants, and the whole planet of Krypton was like looking cool. So I did not see one fucking dog. Like, not one dog, right? Is there a super cat?
Wasn't bring your dog to work day, okay?
Is there a super goldfish? Do Kryptonians have, like, very human, like, Earth-like? Because genetically... I'm sorry I have to go off on a tangent, but genetically, like, Kryptonian history would have to have canines to have a crypto dog.
Unless they were abducting animals from Earth and taking them back to Krypton.
Well, no, because then they would have to completely change the genetic outstanding, because Crypto has Superman powers.
Only when he's, under the red sun, so...
No, it's Yellow Sun.
Or Yellow Sun, rather,
yeah. He has to be on... But if they took him from Earth, and then took him back, and then manipulated him, and then sent him back...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Crypto is not actually Superman's dog. It's Supergirl's dog, and it arrived on Earth with her. So.
Oh, I love Supergirl. Like, every time they show a picture of Supergirl, I'm like, did you have to give her a mini skirt?
Well, Yeah.
just to make her stand out differently. Why can't Supergirl wear
just be wearing in her pants?
Why can't Supergirl wear super trousers like Superman? Why does she have to wear a super miniskirt?
Because it just works.
But I know it works. I'm a man as well, but like I would hate looking up on in Superman's words like, whoa, who's that? Supergirl. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So anyway, really enjoyed Superman.
Good, yes.
So next thing I want to talk about is Megan 2.0.
Oh my god, I've still not seen the first one.
Oh really? Okay. Now this is from writers Gerard Johnson and James Wan, your favourite, Ian.
Yes.
And this is 2 years now after Megan's rampage, where her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole Megan's underlying tech.
Oh, right.
So basically, what was left of Megan after the first film has then been taken by the company, kind of like in Chucky 2.
Yeah.
Just we'll take this skeleton and just make a new one out of it. Instead of incinerating it to ash. So then they build a new robot, send it out like a Terminator, but under the government's control, except the Terminator goes, no, actually, I'm just going to go do my own thing now. And so... small spoilers, really, I suppose.
Yeah.
Megan
is the hero now.
It's kind of like Terminator and Terminator 2,
Terminator
2. Where Megan, even though her body was destroyed, she fractioned off or fragmented some of her...
She Horcruxed herself.
She put some of herself into the home's AI system. So she was there the entire time just watching, unable to get into a body or do anything.
Yeah.
And so when the humans need her, Megan's like, well, I'm still here. I never actually went here. I've been watching you this whole time. But yeah, if you can find me a body, I'll go fight the new Terminator for you. So, yeah. So the first film is a horror movie, a home invasion AI robot killer in your house. The second one is like, it's the difference between Terminator and Terminator 2. Whereas this one's just an action film, but it is also a very PG action film.
Yeah.
Like it's almost bloodless, almost.
Oh.
So it's taken all the hard edges away. But the thing is, I really think that the Megan doll is kind of unique looking. I really like the actor or the mocap or whoever's doing its movements.
I think it's an actress in it with a mask on top, isn't it?
I think she is really, really good. I like the voice of Megan. I like the way she moves. I like the action scenes, even though they're mostly bloodless, because they are fast and frenetic. And you, unlike, say, Terminator 2 or Terminator 3, like two hulking robots fucking throwing each other through walls, it's nice to see some more... acrobatic type machine fighting.
Okay.
I enjoyed quite a few elements of this film.
I'm sure you
I
did.
would still say it is a throwaway movie. But when it finished, I was like, I could take a third one.
Megan 3D.
I'd take Megan 3D.
3.0. 3D one. A 3.0, yeah.
It is a trash movie, but I really enjoyed it.
I feel like they're both trash movies.
They are.
The first one I looked at and everyone was like, oh man, this looks really good. And I'm like, it's just a rip-off Child's Play.
Oh, yeah.
Why would I want to... Like, I didn't want to watch the remake Child's Play, so why would I want to watch this one? And what is it... What new? What is it bringing that's new to this? Nothing. They defeat it at the end, and the movie could have just never had a sequel. When I heard that they were making a sequel...
Because the first one did so well.
Yeah.
Rush it.
That they were trying to make it so that there was another robot. I was like, okay, so you've made the villain of the first one into a hero. Where do you go from there into your franchise other than making the original villain hero a villain again and make it more bloody? But now that you've made it PG, if this one does well...
Yeah, I don't know how well this one's done. I've not looked it up at all.
I don't think it's done as well as the first one, really.
But
but if they do enough money, they might as well go, yeah, let's make a third one. And, there'll be an army of them, and she's fighting multiple versions of herself, but she's still the hero, but the rest of them are all evil because they want to...
Yeah, I'll say Megan 1 is worth a watch, and Megan 2 is my lowest recommendation, but it was quite entertaining. Unlike this next film that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
We waited a long time for this one, Ian.
I didn't. I gave
28 years, in fact.
28 years later.
From writer Alex Garland and director Danny Boyle. It stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and Ralph Fiennes. And it follows a group of survivors of the rage virus that live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors.
All right, before my friend starts, because he's seen it, I have not gone and watched this movie. I have purposely not gone and watched this movie, mainly because I thought it looked stupid when I saw the trailers, but I let everybody just do what they wanted to do and how excited they were that the rage virus was going to come back. But I had so many questions. And before somebody in the chat said, yes, I did wiki it, but I had the questions before I wikied it, and now I have even more questions. And I'm like, no. And funnily enough, I've spoken to up to 4 people who have gone and seen this movie, including Gary, and all 4 of them have said it's average, it's 5 out of 10, and they all lost interest in it after a certain point, which was the first 20-25 minutes into the movie. So I'm like, okay, go. Tear it half.
This film was an absolute shambles. Like, I'm struggling for my words of how much of an embarrassment I felt this film actually is.
Yeah.
I was confused and confuddled and put off 5 minutes into the film when it takes like a 3-minute segment of film where there's this old poem that's kind of being sung over footage of like archive footage of World War One, World War Two. And it's the poem or song was about incarceration of some kind, which is supposed to reflect the nature of the people that are trapped on this island next to the mainland. But it did not come across that way in the slightest.
No.
The next thing that would really put you off is the atrocious attempt of doing this unique action spin where whenever there's a headshot or a death to one of the infected, the camera would do a stutter jump. Like how the Matrix you would have all the cameras going all the way around. Imagine doing that, but you removed a chunk of the cameras, so it went dunk 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 dunk.
Yeah, I did see some of those shots when I was on YouTube.
It's so jarring.
I'm like, why would you agree to that?
Yeah, who thought that was a good idea? Because it's so distracting, reminds you immediately that you're watching an edited piece, and it was like, was the effect bad? Did you need to do something to jolt your audience because we're fucking bored out of our minds with this? I don't know. Very, very weird choices to make. On top of that, you feel like this film, it starts off, once you start to try to get into it, you're like, okay, this is like the film The Road. You know, it's a father and a son. They're now in the mainland. They can't get home because the tide's in. The rage virus alpha male has spotted them. It's going to trap them, and what are they going to do? But they get back to the mainland, and then Mum's sick, and he's like, "Well, fuck you, Dad. You're a terrible person. I hate you. I'm going to take Mum, and we're going to go out into the mainland and find this random doctor to cure Mum." And then that's the second half of the film. And you're like, so it's like almost a split narrative because you didn't really establish this asshole father character. At the beginning, he felt like a mentor who was out with the son, teaching him how to get his first kill, teaching him the do's and don'ts of being out in the wilderness. Yeah. And after one day of being out there, he's suddenly able to plot armor his way through. You also have characters that are patrolling the mainland that somehow end up on the island. You don't see how they're stranded and they have to fight some infected. So we have military versus rage, but these military guys have never even fired a gun before, so they're all completely annihilated. And then it just raises more questions, like how has the modern world gone on and completely isolated the UK? No care packages, no scientists, no explorations, no studies into the rage virus. For 28 years, you're just like, this whole universe plot idea just falls to pieces.
I like I said, I've not seen the movie. Because in my mind, I was like, hold on a minute. Why is this virus still active 28 years later? That at the end of the first movie, we were told that the infected would die of starvation. Because they're not zombies. They are not zombies. They're not undead. They haven't come back to life. They're human beings who have been infected with a virus which just drives them mad. And so they can't rationalize thought. They are just rage-induced. And I know a lot of people hate the sequel.
Unless they're pregnant.
Right, okay. I know a lot of people hate the sequel, 28 Weeks Later, but I recently watched 28 Weeks Later, and as a continuation of the first movie, it works, because the virus is dying down, and then they realize, oh, actually, the virus is, you know, it's still inside these people who are asymptomatic, right? They're not aggressive. So you're like, right, okay, so in a way, 28 years later can advance that story. But you have to acknowledge that the sequel exists. If you don't, there is no point. The plot is absolutely missing. On top of that, you've got these alphas, which, like I said, I haven't seen. Everyone's been talking about the fact that you can see this guy's penis swinging around the screen. I'm like, that's what you took away from...
That's why they're alphas. They got the biggest dongs.
That's what you took away from 28 Years Later, was just this giant dong? That doesn't help me with this film at all. But
well, when the giant dong is more memorable than what else is going on in the film, right, it tells you something, doesn't it?
Exactly. These people, the rest of the world, like Gary said, they've not dropped any care packages. There's all these people living on this island. You're telling me that they're fucking... satellites up in space wouldn't be able to see these people and go, oh, well, these people don't seem to be infected. Maybe we should talk to them. Maybe we should be able to work with them. You know, this guy, this infected guy is having sex with another infected, and then she is carrying this baby for 9 months. Because what I've read and what I've spoken to people, she gives birth to a healthy child.
Yeah, that doesn't have the rage virus.
Despite
having two rage-induced parents.
She's managed, this rage-induced woman has managed to, like, eat and drink for 9 months. Fine? On an island that has no healthcare system? Like, I know it's supposed to be present day, but, like... I've never heard of an asymptomatic zombie. So they aren't zombies. No, they're not zombies. They're infected. There's a very vast difference between the infected.
So they're biologically, their heart's still beating.
Their heart's still beating. That's why you don't have to headshot them. You can fucking just shoot them in the fucking chest.
Down they'll go,
And this is the other thing I don't understand with these rage infected as well. It's like a normal human being can only run so far before their muscles give out.
Yeah.
These infected don't stop running.
The rage pushes them on.
So after a while, their muscles would rip and tear. They wouldn't be able to stand.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be able to run and jump as fast as they do. And
then the ending.
Oh, yeah.
Where an army of Jimmy Saviles turn up to save the day.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that you're like, I'm already heading for the exit before the fucking credits have started to roll.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out. Get me out of here now. I'm not wanting to come back for your trilogy.
Yeah.
My God.
The sequel.
And when I'm told that they've saved some of the best stuff that they wanted to do for the later films, I'm like, well, too late.
Yeah.
Too late. You've lost me.
Your sequel is going to have to be so fucking good to make people forget about how bad the first one was.
Yeah.
And they've tried that before. Look at Attack of the Clones. People still hate on Phantom Menace. You know?
People still hating on Star Wars now.
Yeah.
But then for good reason.
It's just, yeah, oh my God.
So, pass on 28 Years Later. For me, it was I gave it a generous, very generous 5 out of 10. The friend of mine that was sat in the cinema with me did this to the cinema screen several times throughout.
He put his fingers up if you're just...
Oh yeah, if you're only listening. He put his fingers up to the screen. His middle finger.
Yeah.
Both hands. So, yeah. Anyway, next one on my list. This one I actually enjoyed a fair amount.
Yes.
And I was surprised that I did. Fantastic Four, First Steps, from director Matt Shakman, and it stars Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby and the other two. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond, the Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer.
Oh, I knew this one was gonna just... Marvel, they just don't care. The audience goes, oh, don't change anything, and Marvel's like, no, we've got Pedro Pascal. Everybody loves him at the moment. He's doing so well. I don't know Vanessa Kirby. Like, what's she in? What's she done?
She was... I discovered her in The Crown, the Netflix royal family series. That was the first time I ever saw her. And she I mean, she's very pretty.
Yes, yes.
But she was also one of the actors on there. I mean, there were some fantastic actors on there, but she stole every scene she was in. I was like, I'm drawn to this woman. Like her acting ability was great. And then she appeared, I think, in one of the Mission Impossible films.
Right, okay.
And she was in something else. And then when I heard that she was cast as Sue Storm, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Like, because my knowledge of Fantastic Four is the cartoon, and then Jessica Alba, and so I'm like, like Jessica Alba, she was voted like one of the hottest women on the planet,
forever,
FM magazine or whatever. So like eye candy Sue Storm, and I was like, I like Vanessa Kirby, but I was like, they've gone for a woman. And a more mature woman in this role. And I was like, okay, we're actually getting adults in this. Like, it's not going to be Fantastic Four of the teenage years, or anything like that.
Like, the last Fantastic Four movie was pretty fucking low. That one was really bad with
Agreed.
Michael B. Jordan. So, like, I knew they couldn't really screw up with this. But the worst thing I suppose that Marvel could do with Fantastic Four is lose the audience's interest in the plot if they tried too much.
Sure.
And I wasn't too... Because at the time when I saw the trailer, I knew Galactus was in it, and I knew the Fantastic Four would have to face Galactus. What really surprised me was them bringing in the child of Sue Storm and Reed Richards.
See, I didn't know anything about this plot line.
Yeah, if Franklin Richards, if you're not... inverse in the comics.
I'm not.
He's like a big, massive character. So to find out that he was in it, I'm like, oh, this is good, because for somebody who doesn't know, like yourself, the way that they should then not drip feed you the information, but at least give you the plot, that by the end of the movie, you're like, hey, I could be a fucking Franklin Richards fucking genius now. I like what they've done with The Thing.
Yes.
Like the guy, like we said, with the Jessica Alba movie, was it a fucking... Anthony Chidakis, or the guy from The Shield?
I know that. Yeah.
Like his suit, I thought, wow, how are you going to top that? You'd have to obviously CGI the new suit with this new guy. He's the guy from The Bear.
Yes, the TV show. Yeah, the cooking one.
You've got Eddie Munson
from Stranger Things
playing the Human Torch.
Yeah.
I love the look of Galactus.
Yes. I thought Galactus looked great. Silver Surfer looked great. Yeah. The costumes look great. The world looks good. The technology, the future present day tech that they have.
Yeah.
Loved all of it. I loved the relationships between the characters. Honestly, like it in another universe, this would have been like the third Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of stuff's already happened. It's not an origin story. There's like a news documentary that plays in the background discussing how the Fantastic Four came to be.
Yeah.
So all of that, we're just like jumping right into a fresh story in an established world. And the film does a good job of getting you up to speed with all these characters, how they all relate to each other. And then, of course, when the world-ending threat comes, how they bond together and get the whole world to work together to overcome this threat.
Yeah.
And I did not expect this film to pull on my heartstrings or my emotions, but I was like, man, I'm swelling up with emotions watching a bloody Marvel film. I was like, has it been that long?
It has. But you like I said, you'd also just come off of Superman.
Yeah.
And like I said to you,
but that didn't make me feel much.
No, but that's because. And I didn't want to say this to you before, because obviously I didn't want to give you the wrong impression of trying to not be negative. But like I said, I knew you walking into Superman, you knew what you were expecting.
Yeah.
Walking into Fantastic Four, I knew you didn't know what to expect.
I know the Silver Surfer storyline.
Yeah, but I was hoping, and I was going to judge. I was going to judge Marvel about how you reacted with the film. If you came out and was like, "It's fucking shit,"
the best one I've seen in the last 5 attempts from Marvel, because I've really washed my hands with the whole bloody Marvel universe, because it's been so bad.
You still need to go back and watch Thunderbolts.
I do. I mean, because I enjoyed Fantastic Four, I was like, I might now go back and watch Thunderbolts. But at the same time, there's nothing in that story or that cast that makes me want to watch it. But it's like,
no, but it'll fill 2 hours.
Yeah, I got plenty of stuff to fill that time.
Oh yeah, like Mountainhead and Fountain of Youth.
To be fair, these came out way before these films did.
And Megan 2.0.
That was good. Watch that again. I'd actually consider watching Megan 2.0 before Thunderbolts.
28 years later.
Never again. Never again. But I had to see it. I needed to see it for myself.
Yeah.
I had to know.
It's like watching a car wreck sometimes. I need to see a car wreck. I need to know how I feel after.
Yes, do.
Yeah. You feel shit inside.
Speaking of car wrecks,
Yeah.
dangerous animals. It's got nothing to do with car wrecks.
No, nothing to do with dangerous animals. Either.
By the way, I enjoyed Fantastic Four. I do recommend it.
Totally.
This Dangerous Animals is a film I've been excited for a little while because I might like my shark movies.
You do.
You may have heard. And this is from writer Nick Leppard and director Sean Byrne, and it stars Jai Courtney and Hassie Harrison. Now, when Zephyr, a savvy and free-spirited surfer, is abducted by a shark-obsessed serial killer and then held captive on his boat, she must figure out how to escape before he carries out a ritualistic feeding to the sharks below.
For those of you, obviously, just listening, Jay Courtney is Captain Boomerang, and he was the new Carl Reese in Terminator Genesis.
Or he was Varro in Spartacus.
So, like, he's got a bunch of acting credits behind him. I kind of like him. I think he's fun to watch. When I saw the trailer for this...
Is he Australian?
Yes.
He is actually Australian,
he is actually Australian.
Because I couldn't tell whether his Australian accent, this was forced or natural.
I think if you go back and watch him in Spartacus, like, it's really kind of
creeping in there
because of obviously they're in, I think, Australia back then,
right,
when they were recording back then. But since then, he's been in a lot of more Americanized roles where he's had to put on the accent.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it comes through, sometimes it doesn't. But I saw this trailer and I was like, oh, this doesn't look too bad. And then because he was just feeding people to sharks, I just sent it to Gary. I was like, you like sharks?
Yeah, I was like, that could be me in the film, feeding people to the sharks. Because he basically captures these people, holiday makers. They've got no one that would, come looking for them should they disappear. And he takes them out there on a shark tour. Down in the cage you go, and then he sedates them, drugs them, ties them up, then lowers them in a crane on the back of his boat, and then he's there with his VHS camera filming them being eaten by the sharks. And he does this because he was a survivor of a shark attack, so he's got the scars, and now he's obsessed with shark attacks and likes to film them.
All right, okay.
And so it's basically, he gets the woman that we've been following then from the beginning of the film, captures her, and she's on the boat the entire time trying to escape, and he's constantly having to drag her back and get her back on the boat ready to sacrifice her.
Yeah.
And he sacrifices other people while he's still keeping her captive. But you know the gist of these stories. You know she's going to get away, and you know the shark's still going to eat somebody.
Yeah.
So it's a film that's an hour and a half long. It's padded up the wazoo with failed escape attempts.
Yeah.
And the 3 scenes of shark attacks that we really get in the film is not good enough to actually recommend it. The strength of the acting from Jai Courtney, I'd actually say, is probably the best role I've seen him in, because I don't like Captain Boomerang. Farrow was a one-note character that didn't live long enough in Spartacus to really develop, and fuck no, he is not Kyle Reese. So sorry, Jai, but at least now when you're madman serial killer on a boat, like, you're actually quite watchable.
Would you say the plot for Dangerous Animals is a bit thin?
I would. I was like, man, I should go back and watch Deep Blue Sea.
Oh yeah, don't forget he was in Die Hard 5. Live Free,
oh God,
Die
was he
Hard.
his son?
Yeah, he was the Russian son.
Oh wait, so they can actually continue the Die Hard franchise now if they wanted to.
Yeah. They shouldn't, but they could.
No. So Dangerous Animals. If you like torture movies or captured and got to escape type films or shark films, if you've got nothing left to watch,
yeah. Between Dangerous Animals and 28 Years Later, which one would you watch?
Dangerous Animals.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, again, it's a 5 out of 10 movie, but yeah, 20. I'm dropping it to a 4, Ian. Dropping it to a 4.
Dropping it to a 4.
28 years down to a 4.
Oh, yeah. That's bad. That's bad. When he drops it to a 4, like.
Well, now I got one more film to catch up on that I want to talk to you guys about, and this film I think is going to be on my top 10 list of the year.
Mm-hmm.
This film, it might actually be my favorite film of the year so far. It's The Ugly Stepsister, and it was written and directed by Emily Blichfeld, and it follows Elvira as she battles against her gorgeous stepsister in a realm where beauty reigns supreme. She resorts to extreme measures to captivate the prince amidst a ruthless competition for physical perfection.
This has got some real body horror shit going on.
I sat down with a friend to watch this, and I warned him beforehand. I was like, this might be gruesome. I've been told that this is got a fair few scenes of bodily horror in it. I found the body horror in the film to honestly be fairly tame.
Oh, wow.
After seeing the likes of, I don't know,
The Substance
or Terrifier, you know? So,
oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
What I was not expecting, I mean, this is a European film.
Yeah.
What I was not expecting was full erect penis and full woman bent over, vagina flaps open.
Whoa.
In the film. Like, those two shots in the film, they're fleeting. But you're just like, whoa, movie. Like, did not expect these shots. But yes, there is, without spoiling it, it's basically a dark version of Cinderella. And I even though I knew that going into the film, I didn't realize that the beautiful stepsister they called her Cindy.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they called her Cinderella, and I was like, "Oh, penny dropped." I was like, "You're Cinderella,
you're the bad girl.
and we're following the ugly stepsister."
Yeah.
And so we feel sympathy for the ugly stepsister, and we hate Cinderella.
Yeah.
But then, as the film progresses, you start to hate everybody because they're all horrible.
Yeah.
And even though you like the ugly stepsister, you really cared for her. You really like her because. Even though she's got a blemished face, she's got braces, her nose is a little bit crooked, like, she's still quite cute. Like, she's not ugly, but she, in her attempt to become pretty, she makes her insides ugly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it does get to the point where she's like, oh, you know, the prince is like, whoever's foot fits this shoe will be the one I marry.
Yeah.
And so she's like, well, I've got no choice. Meat cleaver, off with the toes. Clunk. Now I'll fit in the shoe. And it's like, that's what this film is doing, and it draws you in for its 2-hour runtime. You really care for the characters. You really hate the characters then after a while as well, but you're still morbidly fascinated to find out how the Cinderella story is going to play out, especially when the fairy godmother turns up, the carriage, the mouse, the pumpkin. Yeah. It's all in there. It's all in there. Even though it's played very, very much like it's in the real world. I adored this film. When it finished, I was like, that was amazing. Like, it's been a hot minute this year since I've had a film that's really captivated me or intrigued me or drawn me into its world.
We're only in August, by the way.
Well, we're almost we're almost at the end of the year.
You've still got like 5 or 6 months to the
4
end
months.
Of the year. 4 months. Yeah. That's still a lot.
I know, but it's less than half. So there's got to be something special to come out.
It's like when people say, "Oh, it's the best movie I've seen in my life at this moment." It's like, what, you're going to die?
Well, I'm not expecting Avatar 3 to be on my best of list. Do you know what I'm saying?
You never know. You thought 28 years later was going to be great.
Yeah, I did.
You thought,
but when you look at Danny Boyle and Alex Scotland, I'm like, yeah, those are great.
No. No. Some film plots, I look at and I just go, that's not gonna work. Because you're trying to rush it out. With 28 years later, I feel like that. With something like the Ugly Stepsister, it's new, it's unique, it's a complete retelling, and like you said, it's like you said, it's so good. I'd put it up there with, like, say, The Substance. You know, somebody's gone, look, we need to make a horror movie, but we need to make it memorable, but we don't have to make it so memorable that that's the only focus. You know, like you said, with The Ugly Stepsister, you're not just always reminded of, like, women's flaps and a giant erect penis. You're thinking about the rest of the film. Yeah. Well, 28 years later, you're like, nope, there's a penis in it.
Yeah, lots of them. lots of them.
Penises.
I don't know why all the rage zombies are naked now, but I guess they just don't need to get changed in the morning. So.
I got a bit confused because I saw a shot where there were, like, fat ones in the woods eating worms and stuff. I was like, oh, right. So that's what they do now. They eat worms.
Whatever, yeah. Shall we get into some news, Ian?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, I hate rushing into the news because, well, it's always a little bit sad when we have to mention those in the industry that are no longer with us, but we like to honour those that gave us all the memories of the films or music that they gave us.
That's why we had to do it. This is why we're going to do it.
And that's one of the reasons why we're actually here for this podcast today.
Yes.
But first I want to bring up the sad fact that Michael Madsen has passed away at the age of 67.
Damn, yeah.
Michael Madsen originally wanted to be a police officer before he turned to acting back in 1983.
Wow.
And from there he would appear and star in numerous films and TV shows, including Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, Donnie Brasco, The Doors, Thelma and Louise, Mulholland Falls, Species, Free Willy, The Hateful Eight, and more and more and more. I didn't realize this. I'm a big fan of Virginia Madsen, and I didn't realize that she was actually Michael's sister.
Yes.
And she posted a very heartfelt statement where she said that my brother Michael has left the stage. He was thunder and he was velvet, mischief wrapped in tenderness, a poet disguised as an outlaw, a father, a son, a brother, etched in contradiction, tempered by love that left its mark. We're not mourning a public figure. We're not mourning a myth, but flesh and blood and ferocious heart, who stormed through life loud, brilliant, and half on fire, who leaves us echoes, gruff, brilliant, unrepeatable, half legend, half lullaby. I was like, that's so sweet, right? Like, she knew him so well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you felt, because you saw his darker side in the darker roles that he played, but you also saw his gentleness in some of the other films, like in Thelma and Louise or in Free Willy.
Well, like I said, he was
a heart of gold in there.
I totally forgot he was in Free Willy, but then remembering it, I'm like, oh yeah, he's the guy trying to take care of them, you know, trying to stop him from fucking getting eaten by a fucking killer whale.
Right, yeah.
You know? Oh man, it really hit when Michael Madsen read that he passed away, but then as soon as I read it, I was just kept thinking about all of the different films that I'd seen him in, and I was just like, man, that's a lineage of acting credits that you'll just look at and go, my God, that movie's really good. Is that
never an A-lister, never a star that you would go to watch a film just because he was in it.
Yeah.
But a film that he was in, he would always elevate.
That's it. Like, was the film always going to be good and he was just in it? Or was it made better because he was in it?
I think so. The dance in Reservoir Dogs.
The dance in Reservoir Dogs is just a prime example for that. Like,
he had no idea what he was going to be doing.
No,
for that dance, he turned to Quentin, just like, what do I do? Quentin's like, feel it, go.
And that's it. I read an interview or read a backdrop with Quentin Tarantino, and obviously with the thing that he did with Reservoir Dogs, they just did the dance the way he did, and then the way that the camera kind of comes off when he goes for the cut.
Yeah,
you know, everybody for fucking 5 years was saying that they swear they saw him cut that ear off.
But no.
But you never do. And
your mind paints it so well.
It's the same I read about Kill Bill 2. Kill Bill Volume 2. So he wears the cowboy hat in that film, right? And Michael Madsen had come to set one day wearing the cowboy hat, and Quentin Tarantino said to him, you're not wearing that hat in the film. And Michael Madsen was like, yes, I am. And so every time they would do the shot, he'd be wearing this hat. So there's a sequence in the movie where Bud, played by Michael Madsen, goes to the stripper bar that he is the bouncer for.
Yeah.
And he has a sequence with the manager in there. And the manager was given a whole new script by Quentin Tarantino, secretly, that Michael Madsen didn't know, where basically he badmouths Michael Madsen and the fucking hat. And so when you watch that sequence in the movie where the bar manager's like, that fucking hat, what have I told you about that fucking hat? You get rid of that fucking hat or I'm gonna bounce. And you see Michael Madsen kind of pull the hat off and hold it. That's realization that he doesn't know that the guy's saying that.
Yeah.
He hadn't read that in the script. Michael Madsen stood there going, I don't know what to say because I didn't know you were going to say that.
But I'm pretty sure he's worked with Quentin enough. He knows that that's his words coming out of that actor.
Just so much because they bring him back in Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
I love him as the cowpoke in Hateful Eight. You know, him going back and forth with Kurt Russell and Samuel Jackson.
Brilliant stuff.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So very sad to see Madsen go. Next one. This one has affected a lot of people.
Yes.
Because of how much he meant, whether his personality or his music. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away at the age of 76.
Yeah.
A true rock icon. Born John Michael Osbourne, who co-founded Black Sabbath in 1968. He helped pioneer the heavy metal genre with unique and powerful vocals and a strong stage presence. Ozzy would eventually be known as the Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
Ozzy, of course, continued his solo career after leaving Black Sabbath in '79, releasing albums such as...
Kicked out.
I was being generous. Yeah. But he had his solo albums like Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman, before eventually televising his whole family drama life in the Osbournes reality TV show. Ozzy's music and stage persona have had a lasting impact on the rock and metal scene. Yeah. And despite facing numerous personal struggles with substance abuse and health challenges, including Parkinson's disease, he remained a revered figure in the music industry. He was eventually inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2024.
Now, I don't know if I can speak for most people who heard this news. I think we were very surprised he lasted this long.
Yes! It's like drugs and alcohol will ruin your life unless you're Ozzy.
That's it.
Well, they still will, but...
When I got into rock music when I was, 16, 17, I was getting into Limp Bizkit, nu metal and stuff like that. And so you started to just be opened up to all these other bands that you'd never heard of before. I think it's fun. By the time I got into Nirvana... Kurt Cobain was dead.
It was already gone, yeah.
Kurt Cobain was dead. By the time I'd listened to my first Jimi Hendrix song, Jimi Hendrix was dead. By the time I realised who even John Lennon was dead. Ozzy Osbourne
is still going.
Ozzy Osbourne was still going. And so I managed it I didn't go and see his bands. I wasn't old enough or born to be able to see Black Sabbath play live, and I wasn't there to hear his albums when they first came out. But all of a sudden, this guy is in movies. He's in TV shows. He's in video games. It seemed like every band from the 1980s had an Ozzy Osbourne story.
Yeah.
They had seen him or been involved with him. And yes, when you look into his history, his lifestyle, I only recently read today something about 17 cats, which is pretty fucking horrid.
That's one hell of a drug bender that he went on.
Yeah, it was a massive one.
Well, that was the moment where he started to try to sober up and change his life. Because
you think after trying to kill his wife, he would have tried to change his life. But they all had their own troubles. They all had their own issues. Like you said, he televised his family in the early 2000s with the Osbournes, which would then, I feel, changed reality TV.
Yeah, it set what it was to be a reality TV star.
That's it. People nowadays, they don't know what's real or what's fake. And we had that back in 2000 with the Osbournes because we didn't know what they were doing, if it was real or fake, if it was made up but it made for TV that we had to come back. Sharon would go on to do fucking Britain's Got Talent and all her kind of stuff. And
she's a wonderful character in herself as well. But then again, even though I never watched the Ozzy Osbourne show, it was unescapable. Yeah, it was still like pre-internet, still really.
Yeah, like you said, when we were watching an Adam Sandler movie and he turns up in that, or we're playing Brutal Legend and he turns up. It's, I think it was, I don't know, a universal moment where they're like, look, okay, Ozzy, we don't think we've got much time left. You can't really move a lot because of the issues
I heard
with your back and stuff.
Because he'd only just finished touring or finishing a live show 2 weeks before he passed.
Yeah.
And he was sat in his black throne the entire gig because he didn't have the strength. I mean, he attempted to get up but couldn't. And I just remember that he said goodbye and farewell to his fans because that was the last show. Yeah. But it kind of feels even more poignant now that maybe he knew that his time was coming.
The thing is, what I found out is that he'd been laid up in bed for 6 years. Yeah. Before going up for that show. Yeah. Because do you remember when he had his ATV accident? He was riding a 4-wheeler kind of thing out with his family 2009, I think it was 2008, 2009, and he'd had an accident. And so they'd had to do surgery for him. They put pins in his legs and stuff. Well, then, the 6 years that he said that he'd been laid up, at that point, he'd collapsed at his home and had moved the pins. Right. But they couldn't operate because obviously it might cause more damage. So he couldn't move. Yeah. So that's why he wanted to stand up. He wanted to run around. He wanted to do all that stuff on that final Black Sabbath show. But Sharon was like, you can't. You fall, you hurt yourself. We've got all this money invested.
I love the picture of Sharon sat off stage watching him on stage perform. Yeah. It's just they really loved each other.
That's it. Well, I said to the wife, Sharon Osbourne, like, say what you want about her, but she'd taken on Ozzy.
Yes.
She'd taken on Ozzy as his manager. I think she wanted to stick it to her dad, but she also wanted to prove to people that she could work.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted to get her head in the business. How hard is it going to be taking on one of the biggest, hardest rock stars in the world? You know, and she could have left him at any point.
Yeah.
She could have hung him out to dry. She could have fucking had him fired. She could have left him to die. She could have done anything throughout his whole career. But she stood by him.
Yeah.
And so I feel like before she was his manager, she was his friend.
Yeah.
You know, and that just worked together, that the two of them, you know, God knows what she must be going through right now.
Devastation, yeah.
Like, you've spent all your entire life taking care of this man.
Yeah.
And now he's not there. What do you do? Fucking Ozzy, man. Just say what you want, Ozzy.
Absolute legend.
Yes, legend.
Well, speaking of bats.
Bats?
We finally got some news on Batman Part 2.
Oh!
After it looking like it was going to be shelved indefinitely because Matt Reeves just couldn't finish the script.
Yeah.
Well, he's finished the bloody script.
Oh my God.
Some 3 years now. They've been waiting. Production will now soon be underway with a release date planned of October 1st, 2027. Cameras, I believe, are going to be rolling on this new script next spring in 2026, making this a 5-year wait between films.
I'm hoping they have a better title than The Batman Part 2.
Yeah, right.
Or Batman 2.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll just be the Batman tagline or subtitle.
Yeah, it'll probably be like The Batman... Well, they could do Batman Year 2. Because he's done that from a comic book a few times. And it feels like The Batman was like his first year.
He was at very beginnings of his Batman because he wasn't playing up to his Bruce Wayne persona too much.
But kind of like with Superman, like what they've done with Superman, it's like, who's your villain going to be?
That's the question. We don't know yet.
And your villain is going to have to do something so big that we actually feel like, oh, Batman could be in danger. Like the first one, it builds up the Riddler so well that when the Riddler is captured, you're like, oh, is the movie over? And Batman's like, no, I've got to take on like a whole army on my own. Mm-hmm. And he still leaves the city devastated.
Yeah.
That's how that movie ends. So Batman Part 2 is going to have to continue what we got in the first one, but then elevate it to...
Considering the first one is, it's like a noir detective movie.
Yeah, it is.
Like, so if you do a second one and it's not like that, if Batman's not having to be a detective and figure things out again, and it's just an action film, it's going to feel like a complete departure.
Don't do a Joker 2.
Right.
Don't do a Joker 2. Because this is the thing, you've already done the Penguin as well.
Yes.
So you're going to have to continue from that. No wonder he was struggling to finish this.
Exactly, because the benchmark has been set so high by the previous films and the Penguin show.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he was like, I'm struggling to top this. I don't know how to do that again.
Yeah.
We'll find out in a couple of years.
Don't do a Toby Hooper and make it a comedy.
Right. Next thing I want to talk about is that this is a potential project that's going to go forward, but Margot Robbie is looking to take on the role of the 50-foot woman in a remake being helmed by Tim Burton.
Why do I so want to watch this?
Because you want a 50-foot Margot Robbie? Kaiju Barbie?
Kaiju Margot Robbie!
Now, the original was a 1958 B-movie classic that was first remade in 1993 as a TV movie with Daryl Hannah as the lead.
I like that.
I never actually saw. I saw a clip of it. I was like, okay,
it's bad, but Daryl Hannah is gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the project, though, the Margot Robbie one, has been temporarily shelved, though, as the lead writer for this remake, Gillian Flynn, who made Gone Girl, has abandoned this and has moved on to another project. So now Tim Burton's trying to find a second writer to either finish or touch up or get that script ready. And Margot Robbie has then passed on the film until she reads the new final script.
Oh.
So what happens there, we don't actually know. But Tim Burton wants to make it. Margot Robbie's interested in it.
See, now the issue we got with this movie is that it'll be fun, but you're running the risk that you're internet audience now will obviously
modern audience
will crap on it for
well, it's about a woman who's scorned who then wants to get revenge against her old partner.
Yeah, it is, but she just because she finds out like her partner's cheating on her or something, and then she becomes,
then she gets kaiju powers,
then she gets hit by that alien thing, but it's like if I remember in the Daryl Hannah one, there was there's the whole issue where she wasn't evil.
Yeah.
But obviously everybody perceived her as evil because she's so tall. But then they actually realised that actually she's turning around to becoming a hero.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I've just got... My brain's on a weird thing and I'm remembering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Is it where Thelma gets turned into
the 50th woman? Yeah.
And I think that happened to Dawn Summers in the Buffy comics continuation as well.
I mean...
The thing about giant women.
What's the risk? What's she going to go up against? Which is a risk. I think she could die unless we turn her small again. Where it's like, so what's the villain? What's the risk other than her?
I guess that's why the scriptwriter left. Was like, you figure it out, Tim.
Yeah. Don't give it to the guy who does Batman Part 2 because
he's been waiting a long time.
It'll take ages.
All right, I got some more news for you. James Cameron, I mean, whether you believe it or not, James Cameron has said that he will, in fact, be directing Avatar 4 and 5 after considering giving the workload to somebody else, like Rodriguez, for example.
Right.
But he said no. He was like, even though I'm like in my 70s, he was like, I'm committed and I still have the strength and the know-how and the will to see the entire franchise of the 5 movies through. Even though he's already working on a Hiroshima, a World War II disaster film.
Oh, right.
It's based on the novel of the guy who got nuked in both cities of Japan.
Oh.
And survived. And survived.
Oh, wow.
And then wrote a book about it. And that's the book that Cameron has been wanting to do for years now. But Cameron said he doesn't have the strength to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be...
epic.
It's going to be testing in terms of the emotional kind of feeling that the audience will have watching that scale of devastation and death.
Yeah.
And so he's struggling to come to terms with even wanting to make it, despite kind of saying he's going to.
What's that? Grave of the Fireflies. Watch that.
Yeah. Next bit of film news. Not really too much not much to the news, but Evil Dead, the next installment, Evil Dead Burn, has officially started rolling cameras for a planned summer 2026 release date. The film is being directed by French filmmaker Sébastien Vanissek.
Okay.
And he was behind the recent spider horror film Infested, which I do highly recommend you check out. As soon as I heard that Sam Raimi has handpicked this guy to make the next Evil Dead film, I was like, wow, I have to go and see what Sam saw to want to hire him.
Yeah.
I went and watched Infested as well, and it is, I mean, you think arachnophobia is bad for getting under your skin for the creepy crawly spiders being everywhere?
Yeah.
Infested takes that to the next level.
Oh, I've seen it on Netflix, and I was like, oh, do I want to watch a spider movie?
I highly recommend it. It's a good, gruesome horror film.
Yeah.
That you're just like, yeah, okay, now I want to see this guy take on Evil Dead.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Sam. They didn't let us down with the last one. Was it Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Rise?
Oh, yeah.
And I believe Cronin is also a producer on this Evil Dead film along with Bruce Campbell as well.
Oh,
so
nice.
they're kind of keeping the Evil Dead family together.
Yeah.
So exciting. And we don't have too long a wait for this one next summer. And I'm like, surely they should have released it next October? Why are they releasing Evil Dead in summer? I guess because we're all going to burn.
DVD release by
October. Home streaming by then, maybe. Yeah. Alrighty, now this is a new story that's kind of like, really? Am I reading that right? Am I happy reading that? Because Taika Waititi, I used to love the guy, but lately it looked like that guy was enjoying the smells of his own shits, and I was like, I'm going to distance myself from your work, Taika. And now when I hear that Taika Waititi wants to do a Judge Dredd movie, I'm like, oh god, no, please don't destroy that too. But apparently he's going to be making it with his long life friend Drew Pearce, And apparently they grew up reading 2000 AD, loving the source material, and want to do a faithful interpretation whilst throwing in some of that dark humor into the mix.
Okay.
They see this as the beginning of a whole new franchise of movies and TV shows and sequels. So we got no details yet. They just know that Taika is actively trying to pursue this and make it happen.
Unless you bring back Carl Urban. I mean,
there's no plans to do so. Like, I don't know if they own... The thing is, they might have the rights to make Judge Dredd, but they might not have the rights to deal with anything of that film.
Well, no, that's fine, but it's like you need your whole film hangs on who wears that helmet.
Yeah, you got to cast the chin. That's all.
You do. That's it. You got to cast the chin, and Carl Urban's chin at the moment is where you mark it. But then, at the same time, I mean, Carl Urban might be quite cheap to get after the release of Mortal Kombat 2.
Maybe. We'll see how that plays out.
See how that plays out, shall we?
I still like Carl Urban, though, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love Carl Urban.
I would happily watch 10 more Dredd films with him in the role.
I just have no faith in this Mortal Kombat 2 movie that's coming out.
I've got no faith in anything Taika Waititi does lately, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. Now, here's another interesting news bit. Denis Villeneuve, like one of, I guess, Hollywood's darling directors right now, who hasn't missed yet. He is going to be directing the next James Bond film for Amazon MGM Studios. Denis said in a statement that some of my earliest film-going memories are connected to 007.
Wow.
I grew up watching James Bond films with my father. Ever since Dr. No with Sean Connery, I'm a die-hard Bond fan. To me, he is sacred territory. I intend to honour the tradition and open the path for many new missions to come. This is a massive responsibility, but also incredibly exciting for me and a huge honour. Amy, David and I are absolutely thrilled to bring him back to the screen, so thank you Amazon MGM Studios for their trust. For now, Denis is working, of course, on Dune Part 3, Messiah, whilst MGM actually finished writing a script and then casting who their 007 is going to be.
It's the same problem with Taika. Same problem with Dredd. It's like you can get any director to direct the movie, but your actor is going to have to carry the scenes.
Yes.
I have no doubt Denis Villeneuve will have the amazing locations,
the cinematography, the detail,
and all that kind of stuff.
Everything, yeah. On a technical level, it's going to be fantastic.
I mean, like you look at it, like with Dune, you had Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
He was your big guy.
Yeah.
So you need somebody of that caliber to be able to carry a Bond movie.
I don't even like Timothée Chalamet that much, but in the Dune films, he absolutely works.
Mate,
so
he's fucking really good.
Yeah.
He's fucking...
So, So, I mean, I'm not... of course, I've not been a big fan of the Daniel Craig Bond films. You know, Pierce Brosnan, I enjoyed the first one, really. GoldenEye, quite a bit. Roger Moore was my Bond, you know, so I like... I don't know, like, there's going to be a whole new Bond for I guess, I don't know if it's going to be for a new generation, if he's going to be wanting it to be back to, like, the Sean Connery era.
It will
I don't know.
It will be a new generation, because, like, you won't be able to jump back to the 60s.
I imagine that the new Bonds will all be set modern day, although I think they should go back in time.
So... I mean,
because that's where Bond really shined in the...
James Bond with a time machine would be great. I would love... like every movie is just James Bond jumping back to a different time zone, taking on... Like he jumps back, James Bond goes back and fights Nazis in World War II and does a mission. Fuck yeah. Time cop that
Teams
shit.
up with Indiana Jones occasionally.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Make it like Ready Player One, but James Bond. He just pulls in different characters from different places.
Wow, this is something new, so I'm down.
Zombies! James Bond in a zombie movie, yeah.
I'd love to see Denis Villeneuve do a zombie movie.
I'd love to, yeah.
Oh, God.
The visuals on that would be fucking outstanding.
Well, I don't know what the visuals are going to be like on my next news story.
All right.
We already have 2 examples of it. But Stephen King, I mean, you might hear that name a lot this year. It's like the 20th project adaptation this year. Feels like it anyway.
Yeah.
But The Stand is getting another remake.
Wow.
For the first time, though, in film form. This is going to be from director Doug Liman, who director of Edge of Tomorrow, Roadhouse, and Go.
Nice.
He is set to direct. Now, the book is over 1,000 pages long, with many characters and events, you know, following the end times after a man-made virus wipes most of us out. So it made sense for that to be a mini-series like we had in 1994. and sadly, like the one we got in 2021.
Yeah.
But we got no casting news on this, no writing yet. Or anything like that, but I can only imagine the job of someone who has to condense 1,000 pages down to like 150 for a film. And then, but apparently what I've heard from Doug Liman is that, yes, we cannot do the entire Stand novel in film form. So what they're going to do is find an angle of a character or story and just follow that for the film. So just follow the MOON guy, or just follow the bombity bomb guy.
Yeah, but you can't, because
just follows it Sister Abigail.
Yeah, but you can't, because the whole point of the Stand is those characters interact with other
I agree,
characters.
which is why I'm like, I don't have much hope in this.
That's like doing like The Shining and going, okay, we're making a Shining movie, but it's just Jack.
Yeah.
He just goes to the hotel without his family and is attacked by ghosts. or Misery. It's Misery, but the guy crashes his car and stays in the car.
Right.
He doesn't get picked up by the girl. Like this. Yeah, no.
So I'm doubtful, despite Doug Liman being involved.
Yeah.
I like the Stand story, but this, again, I just feel like it should be a 10-part miniseries, like condensing it into a 2-hour film.
But that's also
just do your own story.
But that's also the problem that we've had with the Stand as well. Is like the Stand is great, but it drops in the midpoint. The beginning starts great with the virus and
the outbreak
of all the different characters.
Watching all of them travel to get to each other.
That's it.
But then when they all get to each other,
it's not. Yeah, that's it. It's not until like you want to say like the end of the Stand is great, but honestly, I can tell you right now, I can't tell you anything exciting that happens in there.
It's the 1990s, 2000s lottery hand that floats down and says, "It's you."
It's you, right? They defeat Flag, or the demon guy.
Yeah.
And what happens to the people after in that world?
Well, those that didn't end up in the bomb's blast radius kind of, I guess, just rebuilt humanity.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't know. At the end of the Stand, it's not like Stephen King went, oh yeah, and 10 years later they rebuilt society and everybody was happy again and nobody ever made a killer man-made virus. It's like the Stand literally ends. They go, we've killed the devil.
That's it.
That's it.
And there was much rejoicing.
After 1,000 pages. After 1,000 pages. That's it. Yeah, no.
Well, in my next news story, Blumhouse now owns the rights to the Saw franchise.
Oh, fuck off.
The 11th film in the series kind of stuttered and then was eventually cancelled.
Woohoo!
Interestingly, though, the Atomic Monster also merged with Blumhouse last year,
right?
Which was created by James Wan, who hadn't been directly involved in the Saw franchise since the third film.
No, that's true.
But now he has a chance to remake his own work with a new series and go in any direction that he wants to.
Not Mexico.
Hopefully not. James Wan has said that Saw holds a special place in my heart. It's where Lee and I began our Hollywood journey together.
Yeah.
So coming back to this world with a fresh perspective is both thrilling and deeply personal. For me, this will mark a significant creative return to the Saw franchise for the first time since the early days. And I'm very much looking forward to embracing the original script whilst pushing the legacy forward in bold, unexpected ways.
All right. Okay. I don't mean to. I don't mean this to come off negative.
But it will.
It will. Come off negative. It's that as I'm getting older, I'm starting to notice patterns in this. So, Mr. James Wan, who created the Saw series,
along with Lee Winnell,
made Saw 1 and 2, and went, all right, we've made our money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he says there, we hold Saw a special place in our hearts, next to our wallets. You know, because it made us a lot of money. But we've gone out and we've made other films, and as much as we've wanted to really establish ourselves by making other films, they're just not Saw. They're just not Saw. And so what we've managed to do is we've managed to reacquire our own rights, because the series franchise has floundered, and we're going to restart it. We're going to redo it because that's what we can do. We're the original writers. We can do whatever the fuck we want, and it's like, that's brilliant. But am I done? Am I done with the Saw franchise now? I think I am.
I don't know. When you hear that music start up again, that zap, was it
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
You know you're going to be like, oh, it's going to be good.
Well, I don't know.
Until you watch it.
I don't know. I was going to say, because I've heard that song, and that works with the older Saw movies.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a new one, you're going to have to make
They're going to have to find a new piece of music that does just that.
And it's going to be really hard to.
That's going to suck.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this new Saw franchise goes the way as the new Scream franchise. You know, it's...
Well, Scream is still a continuation, but yeah, it does feel like it's...
15 years after the original film, there's a whole new copycat killer going out of his way, and there's a bunch of teen kids that are in college, and their friends are missing, and it's going to turn out that the Saw guy is actually one of the kids whose parent was a teacher who was killed like 10 years before by some of the other students because they were bullying him. It's going to be something bullshit, but it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and they'll go, hey, do you want a Saw too?
Maybe this time they'll actually film it all in an elevator shaft, like the original script was supposed to be.
They could, yeah. Just pull out one of their old scripts and go, yeah, we can film it now.
Yeah. Well, one last bit of news for you, also from Blumhouse.
Yes.
They have announced that they are actively working on an adaptation of Phasmophobia.
Oh.
Now, strangely, like, Phasmophobia has no story at all. It follows 4 investigators that turn up at a paranormal site, try to identify the ghost correctly, and then leave the ghost in there.
Well, that doesn't mean anything, mate. They've literally made an Until Dawn movie, which has nothing
to do with that
Until
either.
Dawn. Remember House of the Dead, which was set on a rave island full of
Well,
zombies?
at least that had zombies that got shot in it, and it also included arcade footage of the game in it.
I suppose that had a house, yeah. So the same with Phasmophobia will follow 6 students going into a house and trying to establish what the ghost is, and for 30 minutes of the movie they'll be making these marks where gamers will go, hey, I remember that, and
hey, it wrote in the book,
that.
the temperature's gotten cold, it moved in dots, it knocked that over,
and then
what ghost is it?
They'll start to get killed off while the last 2 characters figure it out and go to stop the ghost.
And then they go, aha, it was a demon all along.
Yes.
Right, in the van, let's go, next house.
Well, actually, as the 2 of them go to escape, one of them will get killed, and then the last person will go out, and the film will end with them going into the back of the van and uploading all of their information.
Yeah,
and then,
all of their evidence.
And then they'll see money appear, because that will be the...
That's how they get paid,
The only reason they're going in here is for money.
That's right.
And you'll see the money appear, and an email...
That's because they live stream all of the game.
Exactly.
Just like Twitch does with people that play the game.
And then an email will come up... The email will come up at the end with the sole survivor seeing the next investigation and questioning if they want to go there or not, and their mouse icon will linger over the accept, yes or no, and as the movie ends you'll hear a click. And you'll go, oh, sequel!
Oh, sequel!
We're so good at this! We should totally make movies!
Come on, Blumhouse, we got you covered.
Yeah, we got you covered, Blumhouse!
Well, I mean, I've been enjoying Phasmophobia, the game, for years now. It is kind of like an indie darling, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where they're still working on it. They're still adding updates, new locations, new ghosts, new artwork. It is a very fun game to play. Mm-hmm. It's not scary after like 500 hours.
Yeah.
But it's still a great little puzzle. The figuring out what type of ghost it is. But seeing that adapt into film, all I'm thinking of, it's just going to be a haunted house with a bunch of people trying to collect evidence.
Yeah.
I just need to know where the real story is going to come from. But like we just surmised, there probably won't be one.
There won't be one. They'll try to give story to some of the characters to make you care. Like, oh, that girl's parents died in a fire like 7 years ago, and she's been living in a foster home.
No, this isn't The Conjuring. This is way too much information, Ian.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, trying to establish it.
Well, this is going to bring us to our final topic of the podcast, where
with Jack Black,
God.
As the narrator, Jack Black will be the narrator.
No, he's the radio guy who gives you the missions.
He will be, yeah. Just the voice. That'll cost like 2.5 million just to get the voice in.
Probably now at this point, yeah. But right now, I want to talk about Hulk Hogan, Terry Gene Bollea.
Yes.
He was born August 11th, 1953 in Georgia. He has passed away at the age of 71.
Wow.
He transcended the wrestling world, becoming a pop culture icon with his distinctive look and larger-than-life persona.
Yes.
He actually began his wrestling career in 1977, where he eventually took on the name Hulk Hogan. He gained recognition after signing with the WWF in 1983, and then he became a cultural icon with his Hulkamania persona. He headlined numerous WrestleManias, becoming a five-time WWF champion. His matches, particularly against Andre the Giant, drew massive television audiences.
Yes.
In 1993, Hogan left the WWF. Then he started to explore roles in film and television, appearing in Rocky III, Thunder in Paradise, Mr. Nanny, The Suburban Commando, and No Holds Barred.
Oh, don't forget he was in Gremlins.
What's that smell?
Yeah, what's that smell?
It's Dookie. He later joined the WCW, where he transformed into a villainous Hollywood Hulk Hogan, leading the NWO. He then had a successful run in WCW, becoming a six-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He eventually returned to the WWF, now the WWE, in 2002, winning the undisputed WWE Championship for a sixth time as well. I also say I think that Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18 was the eventual peak of the Hulkster. For me, that was top tier entertainment, great match, and one of the loudest pops I've ever heard from a wrestling crowd. Very, very exciting match. And then he was eventually inducted into the Hall of Fame a few years later in 2005. And then, well, then out came the leaked recordings, the adult entertainment videos, and some very horrible, nasty things were said. Then we found out about Hulk Hogan's political views, and then when he eventually returned to wrestling, he was booed out of the arena, which was kind of like, after growing up, watching and listening to Hulk Hogan and feeling like Hulkamania was running wild, brother.
Yeah.
To see him literally booed out of the arena, I was like, I know that Terry has said some weird and horrible things, whether he meant it or not. That guy just is constantly spewing stuff.
Yeah.
And we've heard, come to know that he may have fabricated a fair few things.
Oh, totally.
To see that shift against him was quite shocking. And then I didn't really hear much about him until his eventual passing, which was came as a shock.
The thing is, like, he'd always, it's like what I was saying earlier. He'd always been trying to do different projects. Like, I was very surprised. Like, 2 weeks before the announcement that he passed, I'd actually seen a trailer where it was him and Eric Bischoff were supposed to be
launching
working,
a new wrestling promotion.
Like a new indie wrestling promotion. And I was like, oh my God, has it got to that stage now where you are just working with like a low independent wrestling promotion who've obviously paid for you to come in and help them? Like, after he left WWE, him and Eric Bischoff, they went to TNA and they were doing this stuff there, and you had the whole Hulk Hogan Celebrity Wrestling, and you had like all these different games that were trying to slap Hulk Hogan. Like, he's a name. He was a name, and I just think, much like with Ozzy Osbourne, this was the shocking thing for me, because the two of them passed within like 24 hours of each other.
That's right.
And for me, like, they were two big figures in my life where, like, I remember my mum coming to me when I was really young, saying to me that Hulk Hogan was in hospital because Earthquake had done a splash on his chest and that he'd had broken ribs. My mum was telling me that. Like, that's how much people believed in Hulk Hogan.
Right.
When Hulk
the kayfabe was strong.
The kayfabe was strong. When he went to WCW and then he turned and became Hollywood Hulk Hogan, there was this whole Monday Night War that was then happening. WWE versus WCW. Yeah. And even though people were still telling me as a wrestling fan that wrestling was fake, it was all over the news at that time that we knew it. People were either watching one or the other because of Hogan's kind of change. When WCW went under, we all kind of imagined he might come back to WWE.
Yeah.
But we'd all heard the stories, all of the background crap, all of the things that him and Vince had with the court case.
Fallings out,
the fallings out with steroid use and stuff like that. There was no way Hulk Hogan or the NWO were ever going to turn back up in WWE again. And then, boom, there he was. Arms looking as big as they were, that leg drop. I heard in an interview recently from him that he wished the one thing he could go back and change was the leg drop.
In what way?
Well, because he'd done it so much. Obviously, the lower of his back was damaged. His hips were damaged. It was a great move, but as everybody had always said, oh, how can a leg drop defeat a man and all that kind of stuff. So he said what he wished he'd done is because he was known to have the largest arms in the world because of his bodybuilding, he should have just done the sleeper.
Right, yeah.
He should have just done a simple chokehold where he made the person pass out. And I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine the world as if now?
Got a question for you,
yes.
as you are my wrestling guru.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan did actually face off against Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
And that match ended in a TKO.
I did it.
I believe so.
I will have to.
I wanted to know how that happened because I don't remember ever seeing a match between Hulk Hogan and Brock Lesnar. Like the old guard who had already retired was in the Hall of Fame, still wrestling like the biggest monster in the company.
Brock Lesnar came into WWE in like 2002.
Okay, yeah. So that's about the same time, yeah.
So they were actually in there together, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple of matches where they had. I'm going to go. I'm using Google right now. Hogan versus Brock TKO. Let's see what history says. Well, it seems like it was on SmackDown, and yeah. Well, there's a couple of notes as well, like. Shawn Michaels also said that trying to work with Hulk Hogan during that time,
they had a big SummerSlam match.
2004, was really
the big
hard.
overselling. by Shawn.
They didn't like each other. But I sit there and I'm like, you imagine the environment that they're in at the moment. To Hogan, he's the guy who allowed it all to happen. Without him, you don't have a Shawn Michaels or a Brock Lesnar. To Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan tried to put them out of business, and so Shawn Michaels between 96 to 99 had to work almost 3 times as hard as he had been up to that point. And Shawn Michaels had been working quite hard up to that point anyway. He had to work as almost 3 times as hard just to get their ratings over what WCW and the NWO were doing, and they weren't doing that much. Hogan was doing a lot of talking. So what are they trying to be? Then you've got Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, a fucking self-made professional fucking wrestler off of the school circuit, is now coming into WWE, and he's being supported by Vince McMahon, the fucking owner, but he's also being told to kind of stand in the back because, well, here's Hulk Hogan. I imagine how that you would feel. So all 3 of them, I would imagine, had egos that were clashing backstage, and then they're having to go out into the ring. Other than...
Well, I mean,
on SmackDown.
I just appreciate that Hogan, who refused to be buried or refused to be pinned by so many of the roster when he did come back to the WWE, allowed the next generation to beat him.
I don't really think he had that much of a choice.
I don't think so, but he could have then just gone. He could have just quit.
Oh, he could have done an Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah. But he did actually pass the torch.
Exactly. I think as well, when you look at Hogan, he worked with Andre the Giant, and Andre the Giant was the guy.
Yeah.
A lot of the wrestling business was put on Andre's shoulders. What we see from WWE with Andre, that was at the end of his career.
Yes.
That was when he was barely able to move and he was in a lot of pain, and he was telling people he's happy just to die because of his life. He didn't want people to stare at him anymore. Where you imagine, like you said, Hogan's wrestling career started in 77. He didn't join WWF until 83, so he'd been going 6 years, doing God knows how many matches with Andre, doing all their stuff behind the scenes. He was living life as a rock star. At one point, you have to imagine for Hulk Hogan, at one point, people told him that taking steroids and taking cocaine was a good thing. It was good for him.
Yep, drink your milk and take your vitamins. That's what he was.
I always loved that. Hulk Hogan was telling me to fucking do my best, and he's injecting himself
with the best.
with the best. When Hogan passed, I had to watch Andre versus Hogan.
Nice.
WrestleMania 3.
I watched him versus the Iron Sheik. And, of course, against The Rock at Mania.
The Rock. And there was, like I said, those same wrestling fans that were booing him the last time he was in the arena.
They were booing the man, Terry, really.
Yeah.
More than the icon of Hulk Hogan.
But the generations had changed.
Yes.
Those same people that were booing him then weren't the people that had watched him in WCW or seen him in the 70s. They had only seen maybe what they'd seen on TikTok and Instagram and wrestling images. And, yeah, all right. He said some nasty things.
He did, yeah.
He had sex with some guy's wife. But that was Terry.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely done some things that we, definitely frown on him for. He is... Considering how much he's lied and cheated and stolen and blagged about stuff,
yeah,
I don't know. Because I'm not in that industry, I don't know what's going on. I can only, build up the image of Hulk Hogan from everyone that was in his life that no longer wished to have anything to do with him.
But that's like what we're saying. Hulk Hogan, the stage man, was a figure. Terry Bollea was the guy he became off stage, and so he wasn't able to say all this stuff as Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Imagine having to bottle that up all the time. You're gonna release it the moment you have freedom, but the moment you do that, somebody's gonna take it and run with it and go, "Oh, look at what your hero said. Oh, he's not allowed personal feelings."
It was also the case. Like the moment Hulk Hogan, when I heard the news he had died, the internet lit up with fans dancing on his grave, kind of thing. Like,
not
thank
fans.
God this horrible man is dead.
Not real fans.
And it's just like the internet just turned like hostile and like celebrating that he had died. And
but that's
like,
what the internet does. The internet takes. Bless you. Sorry, blessing my friend.
Thank you.
The internet takes something and then runs with it, and it didn't last that long.
No,
it didn't last that long. Like I read, like a lot of people were complaining that obviously WWE had done like 3 bell counts for him. He had one on Raw, 10 bell count. He had one on SmackDown, and he had one on NXT.
Yeah,
and I read a lot of people complain about it, but I'm like, well, you have to imagine, like, not everybody who works at WWE works on that show. They might work on Raw, they don't work on SmackDown. People who work on SmackDown or on at Raw, they've got to have the chance to pay their respects. And yeah, in a way, it's also the company trying to, tick their box.
Yeah.
But it was their guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see it in any sports industry. When Paul Gascoigne passed away? Just to check.
But I heard that there was some complications, health reasons. Maybe he did pass.
Or same with, I'll use George Best.
Okay, right,
George Best, everybody says the same thing about George Best. Oh, massive, huge alcoholic, ruined his life with drink. But man, what a footballer.
Could he play football, right?
Could he play football?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Paul Gascoigne's still. Well, it's he's still with us, but they say the same thing. It's same with Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona's not passed, but everyone's like, "Oh, he's a great footballer," except when he karate kicked that guy in the face.
What an asshole!
Yeah,
I hate him too.
But man, I'm so glad I've got my WCW Nitro for the PS1 with Hulk Hogan's face all over it, where he's Hollywood Hogan. I've still got my wrestling buddy Hogan figure as well. I've been going back and I've been watching some of his old matches, and it's just like, you imagine what it's like for somebody behind the curtain. Same thing I'd say probably with Ozzy Osbourne. They're behind the curtain, they've just gotten themselves ready. They've got a crowd out there kind of cheering their name or baying for their blood, and then they've got to go out and perform.
Yeah.
Takes a lot.
It does. Yeah, but Most of Hogan's matches were over in 4 minutes, though.
But man, those 4 minutes.
Did he deliver?
Yeah.
When he went through the routine, when he hulks up, when he does the taunts, when he shakes his finger. No. Absolutely, just brilliant. Like, I mean, he wasn't the first to do any of those things.
No.
But when he did those, you believed.
Yes.
He made you a believer. He made you get excited. And like when we were watching wrestling as a kid, we didn't know that these were all made-up matches. That they were predetermined. So you really rooted for the guy. And then when Hogan turned up in like Rocky or in Gremlins or anything else, you're just like, oh, we know that guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was... When over in the UK, when wrestling wasn't even being broadcast over here, and we just occasionally got some VHS tapes, you know, and like discovering him, it was just like, I want to go and find out more about these guys I've just seen here. Like, just real natural charisma of Hulk Hogan, absolute icon, and I would say the icon of the WWE or of professional, you know, wrestling. It
does actually. As sad as it is, it does kind of warm my heart knowing that, like, if there is an afterlife, Andre, Ultimate Warrior, Macho
Savage,
Man, and Hogan are all,
and other NWO guy,
Scott Hall.
I was going to say Razor Ramon.
Yeah, you know, they're all back together, like, there, you know. Hopefully that's what we all aim for, you know, all of our hard work, all of the turmoil, all of the challenges we go through our life, when we enter in the afterlife, it's
the
like
big Royal Rumble in the sky.
That's it. People are clapping like, hey, you made it, you know, and you're like, really? Yeah, everything you did got you to this point, you know. Obviously, if you do bad shit, you go to the other place,
right?
You know. It's where the Sheiks ended up.
Oh, no. Well, sadly, that's going to bring us to the end of this mini-cast. I'll say that, but it was almost 2 hours.
Yeah, well, that was good 2 hours, man.
Yeah, we had a lot to catch up on, I guess.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank everyone for making it to the very end of the podcast. Thank you for listening and joining us as we talked about the latest film releases and, of course, talked about the legend that was Hulk Hogan.
Yes, we will definitely try to get another one of these up and running.
Yes, this was kind of an impromptu, last-minute kind of podcast. We didn't even know if we were able to put this on today.
I said we had 5 minutes. We were like, should we try and fit something in that 5 minutes, shall we?
Sure.
You know, if anything, we will be definitely doing one for October.
Yes, yeah. That is the absolute plan. We always like to do one in October. Yeah. At least because at that point we've kind of, the temperature's kind of a little bit more pleasant.
Yes.
And we've calmed down the double, triple edits that we usually do by that point.
Yes.
And we've already had a bit of a holiday, so batteries are recharged and we're raring to go. Just get to the end of the year at that point.
He says batteries are recharged like half full.
It's still charged. So we'll hopefully we'll let you know on the socials when we do have a new podcast.
Yes.
When it's going to be when we're going to be preparing to present it. Of course, you can without a doubt guarantee that we'll have a new film review on Thursdays. Except we might also miss a Thursday next month.
Yes.
It's possible that we might fall short because not only am I taking a streaming holiday. We are going to be taking a week of no recording for one of those weeks as well.
Yes.
Just to give us a full break because, as you know, for more than 10 years, we've been, without fail, working. And sometimes it's nice to just have a full-on break and just have that ability to relax a little bit. So there might be a Thursday where we don't have a video ready.
People like me not just analysing every fucking thing I watch. Because that's what I do weekly with the show. You know, I sit there with notes. Like, I try to watch a normal program with my wife, and I'm already picking up editing issues, audio issues, and where the script's going to go. And she's like, will you go out the room, please? So I have to go out the room. Where when I take a week off, I'm like, I can not use my brain,
yes,
I suppose.
And just vegetate. Because that's all I want to do is just, nothing, sweet nothing.
Yes.
So, forewarned. But I would like to say we do have some very interesting films for discussion coming up in some reviews.
Yes.
So please do stay tuned. And until next time, take care, stay safe, see you on the next one.